So I've been teaching on the 5 P's of leadership, and this is something that was born out of my thought when someone asked me, what does it take to be a good leader? All right. And so far we have talked about what it means to have passion. You are the asset. What it means to have clear purpose, for you to know what your ministry is, what your calling is, or how you will serve people and make an impact that will last. And then yesterday we talked even more deeply about people. How do you know who the people are that you're supposed to serve? How do you know what they need? How do you make sure that you're not just making stuff up on the fly, but you're actually making a difference? Today, I want to talk to you about posterity. Posterity is a fancy word when I was looking for words that start with P that simply means legacy. How are you building something that will last? So when you're in a leadership position, you don't want to just have small wins. When a coach puts together a team, whether that be football or basketball, soccer, no matter what it is, baseball, softball, the debate team, it doesn't matter. A coach is looking at the strength of the team and they're looking for the long-term wins. And a coach always has their eyes, yes, set on every Friday night or every Saturday morning for a win. But bigger than that, a coach is looking at winning the championship. A coach is looking at carrying away a title. And you can have a couple of L's in a season and still win a title. They're also looking for building a winning team, knowing that every person on the team does not have all the strengths, that you're putting together a team that's designed to have team-wide strengths, even when you look at your first string and your second string. So a coach is not just looking at a win for today. They're looking at a long-term win, and they're looking for the strengths of their team that's going to be the backbone of building that win as they move forward. So posterity says when you're a leader, you do not have a short-term view. You do not have a viewpoint that says, tomorrow and only tomorrow is the goal. You are always thinking about the end of the line. You are always thinking about where we're going, and you're thinking about that as you build. So you want to be asking yourself questions when you are determining whether or not you're a leader who leads with posterity in mind. Number one, what impact what impact will your leadership have long after you not only are gone from this earth, but after you've logged off of the computer, after you stepped off of the stage? How do you make sure that you are being a good steward of whatever investment you're making into your vision, into your goal, or into other people? So for example, this YouTube video is up. Once I'm finished recording live, there are some things that will happen. I'm going to add some keywords to the description of this YouTube video. I'm going to make sure that the link to the 5Ps workshop is here, which, by the way, if you want the download for the 5Ps, it's just a one-pager. It's super simple, super easy. But I want to make sure that you get that, and you can get that at crystalevanshurst.com/5P leader. That's crystalevanshurst.com/5P leader. That's an example of posterity. Because after this video is over, I want you to be able to work through what does it mean for you to be a leader who thinks about the long term. And so beyond this talk, I have thought about what can keep this conversation in your mind long after you've watched the video. I'm going to put this video in probably in an email before the weekend is over to make sure that maybe people who didn't get the YouTube notification, who aren't subscribed to my channel, are going to know that I did it. Because I'm thinking about how far could this message go. When I speak and I step off of a stage, I am thinking, I hope this message was helpful. But then guess what I have at most speaking engagements? I have a book table. Why? Because somebody's going to say, do you have anything that talks more about what you were talking about on stage? And my reason for creating books is because I want the answer to be yes. Now, books are a much slower process, but they're going to get a lot more from me reading my book than they will from a 30 or 45-minute talk. Everything I'm thinking about when it comes to content is about legacy. How can this message, how can this ministry go beyond the 30 minutes of a video or the 30 or 45 minutes on a stage? What are you building that your children or your community can build on? Posterity is not just about your service to other people. Posterity, when it comes to building a business, is also about your family. My hope is that what I'm doing with the Sister Circle, while it has a blessing and posterity to the people that work here, because people get paid, to posterity because we have to get new equipment to keep these videos going out, but that it's also posterity to my kids. It helps me save. It helps me teach them what it is to grow a business, manage a business, to to love the people that work in the business. It's not just about the content, it's also about the development of something that I can hand to my kids. Okay. And then lastly, are you creating content or products, planting seeds that will grow beyond you? So those are concepts, because posterity is more than about your current presence. It's about permanence. Permanence. What are you doing that will last? So let's talk about my 3 points. And like I always try to say, I won't be long before you. Number one, your legacy is not about later. It's about now. Because legacy is not going to be built when you're gone. It's built while you're here right now. So the truth is, no, not only is legacy built when you're doing it intentionally, your legacy is being built with every decision, with every word, and with every investment. I was listening to someone say yesterday, the worst thing that they have people ask them is, "Can I pick your brain?" I actually love it when people ask me, "Can I pick your brain?" The problem is, I don't have the time for everybody to pick my brain. I cannot be a good wife to my husband, a good mother to my children. I cannot show up for videos like this, or putting videos out into the world every Monday, or showing up for my inner circle, and go to coffee with everybody who wants to pick my brain. So when I'm thinking about the legacy that I want to leave, I have to make it fit into what I can do, which is why the cohort exists. So I'm thinking about, how can I build legacy, not just with my family, but also with women who want to grow. But how can I do that in a way that allows me to keep the priorities in order in my life? Those are the active decisions I'm making every day. So it's not just about books. It's not just about buildings. It's about the people you influence, the mindset that you model, and the systems that you build that others can step into. And how you do all of that in the context of a life that is well balanced. The Bible says in Proverbs 13:22, a good person lives an inheritance for their children's children. And that inheritance isn't just financial. It's spiritual. It's emotional. It's missional. And you have to have the availability mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually to be able to leave that well for the people that come first. And then you've got to be in a good place to leave that well for the people that are in your outer circles. There are blog posts, y'all, that I wrote over a decade ago, ministering to the women who were reading my blog. It was like 30 people, and then 40 people, and then 50 people. I think the day I changed my list over to a paid list, I had 79 people on my list. But y'all, I had been blogging for like 5 years, ministering to the people who were mostly women who I went to church with. I wasn't even thinking about the sister circle. I didn't even have a vision for a content creation organization. I didn't have visions of people calling me Coach Chrissy. But I was being faithful while I nursed babies in the middle of the night to pecking out blog posts so that I could be missional where I was. There are podcasts I recorded in seasons where I was in a rental house in front of a brown door. And those moments weren't big, but they were faithful. And their faithfulness is a part of my legacy. You're building your legacy right now. So you don't wait until you get the business. You don't wait until you get the income. You don't wait until you get the team. You do what you can right now. Now, you want to build systems that outlast you. Okay, your legacy is not later. It's right now. That's point one. Number two, you want to build systems that outlast you. If it dies when you stop doing it, oh my goodness, and this is the hardest thing for solopreneurs or business owners to learn when they're growing as a small business. How do I know that? Because it's hard for me to learn. For the girl who is the geeky girl who can send all the emails and set up the tech, you should see my tech setup right now. In a hotel, but I've got, a camera, and I've got a microphone, and I've got, my makeup bag, and people are looking by me and they're like, what is she doing? I can do it all myself. I can do a lot by myself. But what is that proverb? If you want to go fast, go by yourself. If you want to go far, go with other people. I could not have an inner circle if it wasn't for my community manager. I could not get out of the weeds in terms of our systems and operations if I did not have an operations coordinator. I could not take care of all my email. I don't answer all my email if I didn't have a rockin' personal assistant. I wouldn't be able to edit the videos if I didn't have a video editor. Now, have I done all of that at one time? Yes. Did it get to the point where my family was eating cereal for dinner? Yes. Did God create increase so that I could hire my first person who worked 5 hours a week, and I said $10 an hour? And I was like, do not go over 5 hours a week because I cannot afford to pay you any more than that. Yes, I did. But I have to tell you that right now, the biggest thing for growth over the last 5 years of my life have been building systems that if I'm not there, it can still happen. And some of that means you do it by yourself. Like you have a content plan so that you can record ahead of time, so that when you go on vacation, your videos still come out. It means that you spend time with your ministry team and your volunteers, that if you're not well, everybody knows what to do. It means that if you're going to be the leader of a corporate team, that everybody knows what are our goals. How do we know when we get there? What is the reward that we're all going to be excited about? How does everybody develop their growth and their potential while they're on the team? That means you've got to develop systems that make things happen with a rhythm, that you don't have to show up every day and push it. And if you're a natural born leader, if you're a natural go-getter, if you're a natural visionary, let me tell you, that's one of the hardest things that you're going to have to learn to do. But if the vision can't go on without you, you are not building for later. So building systems that outlast you means you've got to know what it is to keep yourself on track, that you have a project plan that's in a Google Doc, or that is in Asana, or that is in Notion, or maybe it's in your Apple Notes. It doesn't matter where you put it. It could be in your planner. That's why I believe so much in writing things down. But you could do Trello, and you could do ClickUp, and you could do all these different things. But having a plan, SOPs, standard operating procedures, where your people actually know not just what you told the last person, but document it. What are the ways I do this job? Listen, if McDonald's can run a multi-billion dollar organization on teenagers, why is this possible? Because they have SOPs. If a teenager quits tomorrow, the manager's going to hire 2 or 3 other people and say, here's the training, here's the manual, this is how you cook the fries. It's all about the ability to have the business, the team, the mission run, because everybody's clear on what they're supposed to do. So you've got to know how to do that. And we get into what an SOP is and how you lead and how you create clarity around roles in the cohort. Because legacy leadership is about systems. It's not just about spotlight. If you're a brand, a talent like I am the Crystal Hurst person. I am also the Crystal Hurst brand. There is a sister circle brand that I hope lives way beyond me. I hope that later on that the mission and the vision of the sister circle, the goal of gathering women, first around my content, later around the content of other women, because I believe that other women should write and other women should speak and other women should teach. I can't wait to build that. And one day we'll have the capacity on our team to do that. We'll have a person that's their job to build that. But until then, guess what? I am a brand. Sister Circle is a brand. So in order for me to get both of these off the ground, for a portion of this time, I recognize that I'm the spotlight, that things go when I come on. I understand that. But guess what? I am building something that even if I'm not here, guess what the girls can do? I've got 10 years of content. Somebody can dip into that long after I'm gone and put stuff together and put it out. And the more that I grow into my mission and vision, the less I want to be in the spotlight, because I have systems that carry the mission and vision forward. You can create devotionals, you can create frameworks, you can create trainings, you can create businesses, but they all have to be able to be picked up by someone else and run with, even if you're not in the room. So you've got to ask yourself, can this keep going without me? Am I hoarding the vision or building a team to carry it forward? If what I'm building is transferable, then great. Is it also teachable? Is it scalable? Can somebody else do this? Can other people do it without me? And can it grow even if I'm not in the room? The greatest fruit of your leadership may be on trees that you never get to sit under. It's the concept of planting trees that are not for you. Habakkuk 2:2, I mentioned this earlier this week. Write the vision down. Even if you don't feel like it's crystal clear, even if you feel like nobody can actually follow it, even if you feel like it's at its infantile stage and it's just a seed, whatever you got, write it down. Do you know how many times I have crafted or recrafted my vision and mission statement? Do you know how many times I've had to get clear on it so that new people could get it? Do you know how many times that I felt like this is super vague and I've had to narrow it down? You just make it and then you make it again and you just keep reviewing it until it's just right. And then when it's just right, give it 2 or 3 years, maybe 5. You might need to change it again. That's okay. Changing is not the problem. Growing is, and you can't grow if you don't have a starting point. Write it down so that other people can read it. God instructs us not only to have a vision, but to make it plain so that others can carry it on. So the first point is legacy is not about later, it's about right now. Your second point is you want to build systems that outlast you. The third point is that posterity, another word for legacy, requires intentional investment. You have to plant seeds. And most of the time I've found that people, women in particular, don't get started on their legacy vision because they don't have it all together and they don't plant any seeds because they don't want to launch it until it's ready. Y'all, I believe in being decent and in order, and I believe in having your ducks in a row. And I also believe that you should, that it's good to be ready to have your, and we talk about this in the cohort, to have your trademarks done and to have your websites bought and to have the website set up. And I do believe in preparation, but there are some people that I found who are always preparing and never launching because you can't leave what you've never planted. So what rhythms are you modeling for those who are watching? What habits are you helping your team or audience develop? What tools or wisdom are you making available, if not for the public, for the next generation? Before I was ever teaching on a camera, I was teaching women at my church. Before I was ever running a YouTube channel, I would do a pop-up Bible study and grab a Bible study that I wanted to do, and I knew that I wouldn't finish it if I didn't have accountability. And so I would invite women to my home and say, come if it blesses you, not if it stresses you, and come as often as you can. My door is open. I was doing that before I ever wrote a book. Sometimes your seeds are not the actual final vision. They're just some planting as you make your way toward a vision that God is still crafting in you. So you are not just creating content. You're just not leading a team. You're just not building a business. You're not just leading a ministry. You are creating legacy. And if you want to move forward from moment-based leadership to movement-based leadership, and if you want to create something that will last beyond you, then you have to invest your time, your talent, and your resources in the legacy you're building. Now, I know that the leadership cohort is not for everyone. I know that everyone doesn't maybe have the time or maybe have the level of resources to invest in it. I understand that. But if you know that the time is now, and if you know that the resources that you need are in your pocket, in your purse, then I want to invite you to join the leadership cohort. And here's why. Because I'm going to help you create a leadership framework that you can grow in without burning out. I'm going to help you to build content and offerings and a clear product offering that will have lasting value. You're going to create a business plan and or a personal strategic plan. This time around, the content is refreshed and it's like the old met the new and got better. We're really excited about it. You're also going to be able to develop a structure that others can build on and benefit from. Because if you're passionate about it and it's your purpose, and if you care about the people that you serve, you do want it to last. Your voice, your story, and your systems, they deserve to live beyond this season. So with that, I want you to remember that legacy isn't just about being remembered. Legacy is about what continues beyond you, what gets passed on because you dug in deep. And I want to help you build your legacy. I want to help you sow seeds. I want to help you build your business. I want to help you build your teams. I want to help you lead clear with vision and execute your strategy. My hope is that this 5-part series this week is indeed helping you to do that, to just start to frame your mind around how you can build for a future. But if you want to go deeper and if beyond the what, you want me to walk you through the how, what systems I use, what our SOPs look like, how we manage our team meetings. If you want to talk about how we market, how we plan for the next month for content, how we hire and fire, how we had interns. I focus on interns, and I'm still utilizing them for interns. If you have like the nitty-gritty, then that's what you want to do. You want to consider jumping into the leadership cohort. So what I'm going to do is put it back on the screen because I want to make sure that anybody who joined me late is like, Crystal, what are you talking about? And maybe they missed it at the beginning. Here it is. This is the details for the leadership cohort. It's at crystalevanshurst.com/cohort. Everything you need to know is on that page. And if you have any questions, all you need to do is email me. You can just email me at crystal@crystalevanshurst.com. Okay, so that's the information for that. And I don't want you to forget about the other things that I told you about if leadership cohort is not for you. The virtual walk is tomorrow. Go and get the information because I'd love for you to join me and I'd love for you to get my playlist and I'd love to give you my ideas for how to get together with your girlfriends. And we do this tomorrow to kick off our Summer of Sisters. The reason why we have a Summer of Sisters kickoff is because the Summer of Sisters is what we're doing in the inner circle. This is our inner circle activity. Wrong thing on the screen. Let me fix it. No, that's the link. The inner circle. Where is my inner circle? Summer. Ah, here we go. Summer of Sisters. We are focusing on our health and well-being in June. We're focusing on our money in July, and we're focusing on decluttering in August. I would love to meet you every week for intentional Monday morning mentoring. That's what I do in the inner circle no matter what. I would also love to have you join us for these challenges this summer to get you kicked back in gear for the things that we all need to focus on at least once during the year. Our bodies, our money, and our spaces being clean so that we can think and function. So again, something for everyone. Free, the virtual walk, check it out. The inner circle, if you're like, Crystal, I want to just get in with your group that is designed for personal life coaching at some level. Or, Crystal, listen, you're talking about the cohort, the doors close Monday, I'm in. I want you to teach me everything that you know. And if none of those are for you, my prayer is that me serving you through creating this content this week has been a blessing to you, and you're thinking differently about how you're going to lead as a 5P leader simply because you have chosen to look at your leadership. And I hope chosen then to do something about it. Now here's my favorite part, where I put on the music that I hope gives you a great start to your day. And I'm going to end with that, put the information back on the screen, and my prayer is that who you lead, whether it's the children in your home, whether it's the people on your ministry team, whether it's those that you lead in your corporate setting as a team lead, a manager, a VP of operations, whoever you are, or if it is something that you are in your heart, I have the desire to build a business, but I know that I need clarity on my vision, a strategy that I can use, and an execution for getting that vision, that product, that content out into the world. Well then, I hope to see you on the inside of the cohort. Don't forget the doors close Monday, and I'd love for you to be in the room. All right, y'all. Have a great, y'all see my husband in the background? He's like, Crystal, it's time to go. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you tomorrow.